Hi listeners, welcome to Off the Cuff with Namrita. And I have to, say something that what I love about these Gen Z or millennial women these days is that they're not afraid to take a different path and are very open to new thoughts. And most of them do grow up with a sense of giving back to the community. I'll say they're very socially responsible, I'll say. And on top of that, they know how to have fun too. And I do have a very special guest today with me. Her name is Charu, and I randomly met her at one evening we were strolling around El Camino in Sunnyvale, and you know Sunnyvale. You do tend to bump into a lot of Indians there because of the immense amount of Indian shops and eateries around there, and. Charu, welcome to Off the Cuff.
Thank you, Namrita. I'm really glad to be here, and I'm glad we're doing this.
Absolutely, and you look lovely, I have to say.
Thank you, you're very kind. I had to dress up for you.
Oh, so sweet. And so, listen, one thing. Have you thought what makes you do things in your life, be it professional or personal choices? What is that one little motivating factor that guides you? So this is what I'm going to ask Charu today. So Charu here is a coder by day, that's what she told me, and in the evening she and her husband, they run a food truck. So Charu, tell me a little bit about yourself, about your growing up and everything.
Yeah. So I'm less of a coder. I started my journey as a coder,
Okay.
but have moved in product management after that.
Okay.
But let me start my journey from like maybe a decade back where
Okay.
it all started.
Okay.
So I come from a very small town of Rajasthan in India, Kota.
Oh.
Yeah, so many people in the Bay Area would know it for IIT coaching. I mean, all
Yeah,
engineers have
fantastic.
at some point heard about it. But other than like IIT coaching, I don't think Kota had
Okay.
many other opportunities to like explore.
Mhm.
So the idea was always to, for some reason, I don't know, there was this something inside me that just said I want to explore more.
Okay.
But being a Marwadi young girl, it was the first fight of my life with my parents was let me go out. Like I will survive, I'll be okay in the world. And for some reason they agreed, let me go to Pune for my engineering.
Okay.
That's where I did my 4 years of engineering and started my job at Accenture. Didn't had that, like it was just not fulfilling for some reason. And that was when my mom pushed me, and she's always been this that push at the back to help me, like kind of get out of my comfort zone. So she's like, why don't you many of my friends kids are going out for studies, have you thought about it? And that was when I was like, okay, maybe this is also an option. So the Marwadi parents who wouldn't let me go out of Rajasthan were like, why don't you go to US now?
Amazing. Yeah.
I know, right? Like we all learn and grow, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's when I came here for my master's. Went to Syracuse, that's upstate New York.
New York. Yeah.
And did my master's in information management and started my career in Wall Street, like all East Coast people would.
Okay.
So started at Bank of America as engineer, PM kind of roles. Did my major gig in Big Four, so had like a lot of consulting jobs, worked for a lot of banks. Went up the career ladder, but for some reason the back of our mind, like both my husband and I had this, like we wanted to do something more than just a job. There was just this exploratory piece in us, or we were just not getting that satisfaction in our job, even though both of us had like really aggressive expectation value jobs, like how Big Fours can be. And after that we ran into some visa issues and stuff as well. We can talk about that more. But we were done with East Coast. We're like 10 years. We enjoyed our time in New York, and after a while we were like, we need a change. You know, and
Okay.
COVID happened and all of that, right? So
Yeah.
we're like, maybe New York is not the same anymore. So we
Mhm.
need a change. And
Mhm.
that's when we headed to the Bay Area,
Mm.
living in San Jose now,
Mhm.
and switched from like consulting to
Mm.
tech now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm at Walmart Labs now as
Okay.
a product manager, as I was
Mhm.
saying, and that that's when it all started. We are like, okay, we miss the food from New York,
Okay.
and we always wanted to do something,
Uh-huh.
and we just thought of bringing the two together.
Okay. Wow, this seems like an adventure to me, I have to say, because
Oh, so
that's what
much.
I was talking about, millennials. They have the spirit of adventure and kind of they're ready to open up and, open the boundaries and just do it for the sake of, adventure and fun also.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for us, like that's what I think for our generation, we would stay in one place and just not move, around, just because that's the way we've been brought up, and we look for more safe environments, and not saying that moving will get you into trouble, but the thing is, it's difficult for us to try new things, and that's the spirit I love about these young kids these days. But it was beyond my imagination to see you at the food truck there, and especially when you told me that. So tell me,
But I have to say,
yeah.
on that point, like, maybe Gen Xers,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't move as much or
Huh.
were
Mm.
committed to one job.
Yeah.
I think that was an incredibly beautiful trait that millennials need to take,
Huh.
because we are like, every 2 years we're bored of something.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
right?
see that in my kids. Like, yeah, they don't,
Yeah.
they move, and it's okay. I mean,
Right?
for them.
It
yeah.
is, but like I feel like that's what that one trait I am learning from my parents, that
Mm.
commit also, right? Like just
Absolutely.
live with the ideas that
Yeah.
you bring them to life, and then also like stay with them. Don't just like
Yeah.
keep hopping ships.
Very true, very true, very true. And I think you gain from each experience.
Yeah.
So ये बताइए, like, what are you, and when did you start this food truck? Tell me all about it, and I think the listener would love to know what she's doing about that. And what did you learn? What are you learning from this
Oh
experience?
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
we've told the listeners that I own the Eggmania food truck that is
Yes.
in Sunnyvale right now.
Yeah.
So as I was saying that, we always wanted to do something,
Yes.
and we loved, like, this is part of a franchise though, right? So
Yeah.
we loved the food back in New York.
Ah.
Just this was our comfort food every Friday. So when we moved here,
Okay.
we really missed it. We're like, there's nothing like this. We've been here
Okay.
1 year. We have to do something about it, and that's when we're like, let's just solve this problem for ourselves. Koi nahi khayega to hum khayenge. But we have that conviction on the product,
Okay.
and that at least wo acha hai. And then of course we always wanted to do business, so then it just came to us like how well we operate on it.
Okay.
And that's when we reached out to them and started collaborating. They always did restaurants, but we
Yes,
were like
I
these,
think that.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then we're these newbies, have no experience in restaurant business or any
Oh.
other entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So we wanted to try small, and in tech there is this concept of minimal viable product,
Okay.
right? And that's literally taking the cheat codes from our job we applied to our business.
Okay.
That what would be the smallest experiment that we can run, but still bring this amazing concept to the Bay Area. And that's why we started a food truck.
Okay.
And also Sunnyvale had this booming community of food trucks, man. The
Yeah,
food
a
trucks-
lot.
Yeah. So we're like, perfect weather
Yeah.
for it, perfect experience for a food truck to start with. And we didn't just want to restrict ourselves to just having like one trailer that just serves food. We wanted to build a community and create a place that we like. Just I would love to go and hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
So that's how it all started, with that
Okay.
intention.
Oh, okay. And I did visit the food truck recently and ate some of the dishes there. What I loved about was the vibe there. And
Right.
it is such a lovely environment that they've built around the food truck. They have enough
Thank
space
you.
for people to sit and enjoy, and they have board games, and there was music also. There was a guy singing Hindi songs, and you could request that, and the food was very different. There are a lot of food trucks, that have chaat or regular
Yeah.
this thing,
Yeah.
but this is a different. Eggmania is different. They have dishes, pertaining to egg, I'll say, and it's most of the dishes have
Yeah.
egg in it. Some are also non-vegetarian, like keema and stuff. But like, what were the challenges of doing it? It's like, because you had no background in
Yeah.
food and hospitality, and how, like, what is the challenge? How much is the investment? If anybody else is
Yeah.
thinking of doing something like that, a little bit about the process of opening a food truck.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
given that we have not started a food truck ever or
Yeah.
had any background, plus the people we were working with had only did restaurants, so it was something, like, right? It was even to know where to start with, like what permissions you need,
Yes.
where do you get a food truck,
Yes.
was all an exploration.
Hmm.
So my husband and I this was our passion project. That's all we did. Monday to
Okay.
Sunday, we would wait for a day job to get over, so from 5 we can actually start researching.
Okay.
So a lot of it, like when you have to start a food truck, you have to really decide, like, you want, there's many options, right? You can create a custom build food truck, you can rent an existing food truck.
Okay.
But I will say, if if your listeners are really interested in starting something, start with what menu you need, right?
Achha.
Once you have your menu nailed down, then you can, like, there are many food truck like trailer creators and like manufacturers that can help you sit with you and design the kitchen that you will need for that menu. Like for chaat, etc., you might not need too many gases.
Yeah.
But for like our food truck, we have like 8 burners running in the truck.
Yes.
So it all depends on your menu.
Okay.
But we learned it the hard way, right? We started just cold emailing everyone we found. Instagram was helpful, Google was helpful.
Yeah.
And then once you start talking to people, they'll give you contacts. So that's how it all started. And I would also say, like, this was the biggest learning for us as well.
Okay.
If you keep planning on paper, like, you will go nuts and go nowhere.
Okay.
Just take action.
Do it. Okay.
Just start emailing, yeah, like literally, even in the smallest action of just like speaking to one person, it's a great start as compared to just sitting and planning on paper. And then once we did start, we obviously, as you rightly said, like expenses and how much it costs becomes like a big question.
Yes.
And that's the reason we also, hedged our bets and not did a full-fledged restaurant, because that can cost you like around $500,000 or something in Bay Area, right, to start. And food truck is almost half of that. So we're like, okay, if you want to get something quickly running in a budget, food truck is probably the best option to go with.
Oh, okay. What about licensing and all? Because यहाँ का food का major
for
one.
sure. So actually, the city of Sunnyvale is very, very helpful. Their website has a ton of information that's curated correctly. So they'll give you a list of things that you need.
Okay.
People you work with on the food truck manufacturing side also helps you out. They know, like, what are the steps and processes needed. You need a health check. You need like all the food certification. Like there are a bunch of things, but again, it can get overwhelming. But if you go like step by step, one step at a time, I think that makes it easier.
Wonderful. And could you tell the listeners where they can find you in Sunnyvale, and obviously on social media where they can follow and check out your
you can also follow us. We share our journey and how we are coping up with our entrepreneur lives with our tech jobs on Instagram at Sunnyside Bites.
Yes, Sunnyside Bites, you can follow them. And how long have you been in operation now?
So it was 1 year of planning, but 2 months of operations right now.
Okay, so it recently started, and I have to say they're doing very well. I always see a crowd in the evening there. So that's a good thing, because it takes hard work and it takes effort and it takes a lot of I think good energy to attract customers these days, because everywhere Bay Area has a lot of choices for Indians especially to come in.
That is true.
So there is a lot of competition, I have to say, and wishing you all the best for that. So you also told me your mom was instrumental in asking you to do certain things and get out of the house. which I feel is amazing,
Yeah.
So would you like to tell a little bit about, how parenting helps, and especially with girls, as to, to follow their dream, or just, do what they want to do in life?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was really when we started chatting, I was
Mm.
thinking like, how I made the choices I did and who was like instrumental in kind of shaping it.
Yeah.
And it really was like both my parents, like they
Okay.
are absolutely dedicated. My dad's a doctor. My
Oh.
mom supports
Okay.
him in a lot of like the
Uh-huh.
clinical work as well.
Mm.
But seeing them
Mm.
like kind of running this day in and day out,
Mm.
and not even just the financial success they've gained, but seeing like the respect they've gained in the city was always something that I aspired for.
Mm.
But as you said, right, like as a female from a very Marwadi, traditional Marwadi family, how can you even imagine to just kind
Yeah.
of sprung out and like, do something of your own, which is very different than what anybody's done in your family. I think that's where I look back and see how my mom kind of was a bit of a rebel in her own way. She's like, I need my own, I enjoy teaching. So she was a school teacher for a while. Then, of course, like family, she got busy in that. But then the moment we all grew up, she actively started helping my father and always taught us that as well, right? Like, what financial freedom, I would say, is like the biggest thing she taught us.
Okay.
Like, don't be afraid of like investing in stock market, for example.
Wow.
She would never, and she actively manages all our finances now.
Oh,
like,
nice.
and learned as, as I was asking you, how did you learn all of this?
Yes.
She had the same answer. You just have interest and then, don't be afraid of anything. And that was the biggest thing, because a lot of like young women I meet today, they're just like, no, investments and, all of these sounds very like vague concepts. It's very scary. I don't know what to do about it. But again, just if you, as a kid, you have heard people say that it's not difficult, you have to just try, you have to just learn, it's like any other trade. Any new skills become like very easy for you to adapt. Because they're like, yeah, if anybody can do it, I can do it, right? There's no difference between a boy and a girl at that point, because my mom never treated my brother or me differently.
So, that's a lovely answer, by the way. And I think your parents and your mom removed those barriers of gender barriers initially, and that's where your success lies and your drive lies. I have to say, because doing a full-time job and then feeling that vigor and the vitality to do this, run the food truck, because I see that you are so up and about talking to each one who's there. I'm like, okay, why is she not tired? So I mean, that is amazing, and I think it all due respect to your parents for raising you the way they have, and to all the young people out here, there's always they can do much more, or they can follow their dreams and find their own capacity to give back to the community, I'll say, and also have fun on the way, I have to say, because when you're stuck in a tech job, I just feel you're kind of, okay, this is it now. But there are very few who, kind of get out of it and try to do new things. There are other people I've seen who take acting careers, or they've done theatre a lot. A lot of techies are doing theatre, or they're doing music, or they're doing, they're pursuing their passion. But this was the first I saw starting a food truck. So that is also amazing. Yeah, so this was lovely conversation, Charu, talking to you. I wish your husband could join, but, meet him there.
I told
you have jobs,
I'm representing him. That's how maybe next time you meet him, maybe I'll not be there, because we're always covering for each other.
Okay. Yeah, so just last words, and one thing was also like about your food truck. It's called Eggmania. It's a nice yellow color with a lot of
you can't miss it.
Yeah, you cannot miss it, I think. So a little bit about your menu, how you curated it, and it's a franchise. And your food, are you a foodie yourself? Your food preferences and what you like, and that will be done.
We'll be done with that. Yeah, so I am a big foodie, and that's why we had a gala time in New York, because it's a melting pot of all cuisines.
Okay.
Right? So so tried everything under the world. By the way, I'm also a vegetarian, I guess.
Okay.
So everything under that umbrella is covered. But we always found ourselves going back to Indian food. I think a lot of Bay Area people would relate to it. Like just, it's soul food.
Soul
right?
food.
You would try sushi a time or ramen or whatever, right? But you'll always go back to that. And that's when, that's what we wanted to curate when we were thinking about our menu, that it should not be a one-time thing that people would come and try. It should be something they want to eat every week. And that's what we see in our customers as well. There's a bunch of repeat customers. There are people who travel from, like I had customers coming all the way from Monterey because they heard about this whole Surti street food that came here. So our customers are also as passionate as we are about the food. And that's exactly what we wanted to capture. We didn't want that, one special viral moment. We wanted a sustainable menu that can be eaten on a weekly basis, and that gives you happiness. So our
आपकी favorite कौन सा है? कौन सी?
Yeah, मैं तो if people on this show has come to a truck, they will know the one thing I recommend everyone. Even if they want to eat something else, I'm like, नहीं आप पहली बार आए हो, you have to eat a green garlic egg curry which is called Leela Lasun Keema.
हाँ, Lasun Keema, yeah, we tried that.
You have, like if you met me, that is the first thing I'm making you eat.
Okay.
And our Bombay grill sandwiches are perfect for snacking, so I love the veg peri peri. And everything is a bit tikha, so you are in for like the proper Indian food or like street food.
Yeah, absolutely. तीखा था, but मेरे अब तो age भी थोड़ा कम हो गया, but I still could enjoy it because you miss that spice sometimes, and I think it is wonderful. Obviously thought process around your menu too, because you're so right. You have to make it sustainable. क्योंकि अब जैसे मैं भी गई थी, मुझे लगता है नहीं वो तो यार दोबारा खाना ही पड़ेगा, और definitely that keema was also very good. Parsi,
the chicken keema, right?
Very subtle but lovely.
And we are also, I feel the menu is a bit between a food truck and a restaurant, because it's a huge menu for a food truck. And that's why sometimes the weight may get a little high on the weekends, because we make, like it's eggs, we can't pre-prep anything. But the idea was like provide our customers with a variety of sorts that they have something new to try every week.
Bilkul. I think just for the experience, I'll say go to Eggmania and Sunnyvale and do try the dishes, and enjoy the vibe there, and support I think entrepreneurs like Charu, Kothari and her husband, and that's all I can say. Thank you, Charu, for being here in the studio with me on Off the Cuff.
Thank you, it was a pleasure, and thank you for having me on the show and letting me share my story. But it was a fantastic experience. Thank you.
My pleasure. So listeners, take care. जैसे कहते हैं अंडे का फंडा, you have to try their funda. So bye, take care, be well.
Thank you.
Shosha is a creative Indian restaurant located in the heart of Silicon Valley. Shosha is a woman-owned business that serves traditional Indian flavors assimilated with molecular gastronomy techniques. The best Indian bar with happy hours in the Bay Area serves handcrafted drinks inspired by flavors from India with modern craft cocktails that are presented in unique ways. Shosha is a modern take on traditional Indian cuisine. We specialize in corporate luncheon, anniversary celebrations, birthday parties, and catering. Do check us out for a memorable modern Indian dining experience. Shosha is located at 141 South Murphy Avenue in Sunnyvale, California.